the recurring themes that I get asked a lot, I would say probably at least once a week, sometimes more than that from everyone in the Inner Circle group, is a question that I don't know how to answer. They say, Russell, everything's working, things are hitting, like, where should we be putting our money at? And I'm always like, I don't know, like, you should buy more of my stuff. I don't know, like, that makes more perfect sense to me. And we're really actually super fortunate in this group. A lot of you guys probably don't know that two of our members who are going to be speaking to us here in a minute, they're not just like people that are really good at finance. Like, they're some of the best in the world. They do the back end coaching and fulfillment for some of the biggest brands. I'm not sure if they'll talk about that or not. Either way, they are some of the best in the world, and they're in our group, and they're amazing. Tomorrow we have a chance to hear about their business and some of the struggles there, but what they do, they are amazing. They're the best. And so they're going to talk to us tonight about like what us entrepreneurs need to do with our money as we're making it so that we don't lose it someday. And I'm really grateful for this. This is kind of a selfish session for me because I've been trying to get them to help me with this stuff for the last like year, but then I never have time to ever do it. And this is like forcing me to sit and like actually listen through the whole thing. And I think that's good for all of us because sometimes we're so busy on the making of money, we forget about the other side. I was watching, how many of you guys watched the big boxing fight a couple weeks ago? Then afterwards I went home and my wife passed out because she was super tired and hated boxing. And I was like, I couldn't sleep because I was all excited. And I started watching all the Mike Tyson fights I could find for the next like 4 hours, which was really fun. Like, I loved it. And I'm watching all these stories about Mike Tyson as well. And like this dude who literally made over $1 billion and he lost it all. And then you look at Scottie Pippen, made a bunch of money, lost it all. And like all these things, and I just keep looking at myself like, I don't want to be that guy. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So I'm super excited. You guys excited? Yeah. Sweet. So everyone's put our hands together for Ryan and Brad.
We'll start this out. And I really want to appreciate Russell. Thank you for inviting us to our stage and giving us that support. That means a ton to us. And if you remember our Decade a Day call the very first time, Russell said, so what do you guys do? Like, we help people with money. He's like, so who? We said, well, anybody with money, we can help. Like, we thought that was awesome because like, okay, we've got the biggest and the best audience. He said, so what do you do for them? I'm like, well, everything. It's like we thought we were perfectly positioned to take over the world because we help everyone with money to do everything. And Russell's like, yeah, you're dead in the water. It's like, you got no prayer until you get really clear and focused. And so really, the journey for Ryan and I has been really trying to figure out getting focused on who we're passionate about helping with this idea of money. And what we discovered as we went through this process, it's you guys. It's entrepreneurs. Because we've learned that there is no playbook for us. We don't fit not just in the personality type boxes or the box of school and getting good grades or jobs. Like, we don't fit in any of those boxes. Well, guess what? We also don't fit in the box of traditional financial advice. So we're excited that we've found that message through the last year and a half and lots of processes and crying boxer messages to Russell and everything that everybody's gone through. That's really been our biggest breakthrough through the Inner Circle, has been finding this message. So, let's go to here. So this, as succinctly as we could do it, Russell found this for us and said, after talking to so much of him, he's like, basically you just do this, okay? So if you want to know what we do, this is what we do.
I can't end up like that. I have got to make money and save it, and I have to do that thing that rich people do where they turn money into more money. Can you teach me how to do that?
With my eyes closed.
Oh, good.
Okay. So, and Russell couldn't have teed us up better. You're not going to be Mike Tyson or Scottie Pippen or all those guys, because we're going to help you do what rich people do and turn that money into more money, okay? And we'll do it with our eyes closed, okay? All right, so next. Okay, so when you ask the question, and you've probably experienced this, we've seen it in the Facebook group, when you get to the point where you've got a little bit of money and you ask what to do with it, you get like 100 responses, right? It's the same with dieting or exercise or any of these things. You could ask, and there would be 10 different clinical studies with doctors and lab coats telling you the science proves that you should do this. The same thing happens with money, right? Pay off your mortgage, invest in real estate, buy stocks and bonds, diversify portfolios, whatever it is, and everybody's got all the data to back it up. So how is it possible that there's so many divergent opinions when it comes to money? Well, one thing is this, but even before this, we've got to understand that money is a lot more than dollars in a bank account. Okay, there's 3 things you don't talk about at the dinner table. What are they? Religion, politics, and money, right?
Or sex.
Or unless you're in the, you're going to help us change that though, right?
Yeah.
So money is there because money represents for people their values, their dreams, their hopes, their ambitions, like who they are, because we use money to express ourselves. Okay? And when we get into those discussions, people don't want to be vulnerable about that. So it's way more than just dollars and cents. So I want you guys to realize that. The bigger issue is it's the context of who's asking the question or who's answering the questions. Like I started out with, there's entrepreneurs and there's employees. 99% of the world are employees who look like this, right? This is their existence, okay? And their plan is to suffer through something that maybe doesn't fulfill me so that I can hopefully, their object of investing is to get out of this, right? I'll do this for 40 years and then hopefully I can leave that and never do it ever again. How many of you want that? So if I could help you make a whole bunch of money, how many of you would quit what you're doing? Right, no hands. So this isn't the purpose of investing for you guys. So 99% of that advice that's aimed toward accumulation or aimed toward stopping doesn't help. So let's go to the next one. Who knows Alex, right? How many have had his message resonate with you, message of momentum, right? Right. So what we want is we want our investments to empower us. We want impact, right? And if we can set up our finances in such a way that allow us as entrepreneurs to extend our reach, to maximize our impact, to leverage who we are and what we're doing, that's what we want, right? So I want to take the money you're making and turn it into more money so you can do more of that. Not so you can stop and go sip mojitos on the beach for the rest of your life. Okay, is that good with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, so Russell taught us, okay, we got in the inner circle because we all wanted to make money while we sleep, right? And then this is what he gave us. Guys, think about this. We have a money printing machine. Think about it. So we've heard people up here, if you take $1 and give it to Zuckerberg and Facebook, how many should we get back out?
Wow.
At least 2. Some people are getting like 3,000, okay? But if we can put $1 into Facebook and get another $1 out and do that, that's 100% return. And if we can do that every month, that's a 1,200% return per year. But then somehow when we have the discussion with money, we're now anxious to give it to somebody else who can maybe promise us 10%. Like that's crazy, right? We have problems that people can't imagine. Like I was talking to Brian Bowman in the Inner Circle, and I was explaining this. He's like, yeah, that's like when I get my tax bill, I just go do a webinar and then I pay for it. And when I want to go on vacation, I just do another affiliate product and then I go on vacation. He's like, I don't have any problem making money, which most people in the world can't fathom that. What's our problem? Keeping it, right? It's almost an easier, like, because we don't like money that much or don't want to focus on this, we would rather just go make another $1 than figure out how to keep the ones we already have, right? So what we're going to help you guys do is automate that process of keeping more of it, okay? Russell helped us move. A lot of us started here in scarcity, helped us move from scarcity into a world of abundance. Okay? A big part of what I had to go through, and Ryan as well, in this was just this idea of confidence, this idea of permission, right? This idea of I can charge. I mean, Russell keeps telling me double prices, charge for stuff. Like, okay, so we move into this idea of abundance. But the next stage is we want to stabilize this and move to prosperity, which is what Ryan's going to kind of go through.
You're gonna draw for us. So yeah, with this, guys, and the reason for this with abundance, we've talked to so many people, so many entrepreneurs that feel like they're kind of hunted, right? They make a lot of money this month, but next month, what's gonna happen, right? Where's the money gonna come from? So they go out and they hustle again next month, and the month after that, they hustle. And they do this for year after year, and they have a great business, they have a great time doing it, but they don't really have an exit strategy. So our first goal with people that we work with is to help you stabilize abundance, right? And when you stabilize abundance and you know you've got a fallback plan, you know you have a parachute, something really unique happens. You step into a position of prosperity, what we like to call with entrepreneurs purpose, right? You're more focused on what you really want to do because you've already built and stabilized abundance. So for us, we're going to go through this really quick. We really feel like abundance. I mean, entrepreneurs, I think we're the people out there that will work 80 hours a week to avoid going to a job working 40, right? Because we love what we do. But the downside of doing that is oftentimes it overshadows some of the things that we really want out of life. And so for us, we really feel like there's 4 key categories to living a maximized and well-fulfilled life. You have to have health and abundance in your body, right? Physicality, your emotional relationships, your spirituality, and your mental capabilities, where you're investing your mindsets. But there's a box that really kind of gets in the way for this, even for entrepreneurs, right? And it's personal finance. They don't know where to put their money. They don't have anything set aside, and so they're always hunted. And if you're in your business and you're the only engine that's driving everything, you invest more time, effort, and energy in your business. So our goal is to help remove this block, right? Because what happens is people spend more time. It kind of overshadows what they really want out of their life.
And what happens is this box expands and crowds out our ability to grow in the other 4 areas, right?
What was the M?
Mental.
And I'll have you consider that, guys, when you're on fire...
Physical, or your body, emotional, mental, and spiritual.
And when you're on fire in all 4 of these areas, how does it impact your business?
Oh, it multiplies.
Absolutely, right? I mean, when you have an on-fire relationship, because you're investing there, how does it impact your business? Fuels it. Same for your body, same for your mental capability and your spirituality. And so what happens for so many people, even entrepreneurs, the money crowds everything out. And when they have enough, then they'll come back and focus on these 4 things. So our goal is to remove this, help our clients stabilize abundance, and then what opens up here is this idea of purpose, right? When you have finance that's no longer a thorn in the back of your mind, no longer a something that you're scared and worried about, where's the tax bill going to come from, then purpose starts to open up and everything expands. So that's really the whole key of everything we're going to share with you guys. And before we get into how to do this, we want to be very clear, right? What most of the world is taught is to do the exact opposite of what entrepreneurs should be doing. Pushing buttons. All right, so we're going to play this clip here real quick. George Costanza, if you've ever seen Seinfeld, you can learn everything you need to learn about life in Seinfeld. So we're going to use this here really quick.
George, that woman just looked at you.
So what? What am I supposed to do?
Go talk to her.
Elaine, bald men with no jobs and no money who live with their parents don't approach strange women.
Well, here's your chance to try the opposite. Instead of tuna salad and being intimidated by women, chicken salad and going right up to them.
Yeah, I should do the opposite. I should.
If every instinct you have is wrong, then the opposite would have to be right.
Yes, I will do the opposite. I used to sit here and do nothing and regret it for the rest of the day. So now I will do the opposite and I will do something. Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice that you were looking in my direction.
Oh, yes, I was. You just ordered the same exact lunch as me.
My name is George. I'm unemployed and I live with my parents.
I'm Victoria. Hi.
Okay, so guys, our entire investment model really centers around 4 things, okay? And the things that we want to share with you guys about this, the rest of the world is taught something that does not work for entrepreneurs. It literally doesn't. It doesn't even work for them, but many people don't know that either. But here's the thing. The number one thing that we want to do with clients is increase a couple of things in your financial plan and decrease a couple of things. The first thing to increase is your level of control, okay? The whole thing about this, most people have a financial plan that's based on hope, right? And if we follow traditional advice, you take the money that you just made in your business, you give it to some mutual fund manager, and you hope that it all works out, right? And the closer you get to wanting it to work out, the more scarcity, the more anxiety you have around that because you're never in control of it. But if you can keep that same dollar and put it back into your business and invest $1 on Facebook and get 2 out, right, it's a whole different ballgame. So we have to increase your control. The next thing that we have to help you increase is your rate of return. And I want you to consider a rate of return does not have to be correlated or linked to risk. In fact, it shouldn't be for entrepreneurs. The whole goal for entrepreneurs is the exact opposite.
Because you guys are good at managing risk within your business. So somebody running a successful Facebook ad campaign, do you guys, when you buy ads, are you like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. Holy crap, like what a big risk. It's not, right? We've tested and we've tried and we've experimented and we've reduced all of that risk before we actually push the money in and make the investment, right? So you understand that within your business, yet we're told the opposite within our investing. If you want more money, you need to take what? More risk, right? It's the complete opposite of what we're doing as entrepreneurs. So we're going to teach you that model.
Okay, the last one, and I think this is probably Russell's favorites. What is the biggest destroyer of wealth? Taxes.
Unless you're from Portland, right? Those are good, but yes, income taxes, right?
And entrepreneurs know that. I mean, the more money we make, the more potential liability we have with that. So when we think about the dirty word of retirement or wanting to have income from our assets, the number one threat to that is taxation. But yet the the employee advice that you get is to take your tax bill, kick it down the road, right? Invest in an IRA. One day you'll retire in a lower tax bracket. What does that mean? You'll retire poorer than you are today. So the goal is not to reduce taxes today, the goal is to eliminate taxes. So this is really what it comes down to. The entrepreneur's playbook is centered on three things, three number ones. Your number one asset, your number one investment, and your number one strategy. So in your business, I want you to consider, or not even your business, in your life, what is the number one asset? What is the source and creator of everything tangible that you have in your life? You. Right? But what are we taught when we go to financial advisors? Our home is our best asset. Our mutual fund is our biggest asset. That does not exist without you, and I think we all intrinsically know that. But that's not what we're taught to do. We're taught to devalue ourselves, to give our money to someone else, but you are the number one asset. So your number one investment to do with your money that you make in your business is to invest in you.
So we're giving you a blank check permission to join mastermind groups, to learn new skill sets. We invest in three areas, right? Were you going to cover those?
Skill sets, mindsets, and networks. Guys, when we wrote a check for $25,000 to come to Russell Brunson's mastermind inner circle, that is the best investment we have ever made. It has returned more than any of the real estate we've ever done or anything else that we've invested in tangible assets.
So no longer do you have to feel guilty about that, okay? You can do that as much as you can see where the return is going to come from. Do that before you give your money to anyone else, including us. Cool? So Ryan and I do this every year, along with our sort of annual planning and thinking about it. We go through this process and say, do we have the mindset we need to accomplish what we want in 2018? Do we have the skill sets we need? And do we have the networks we need? And if not, we go and identify where those are. Russell, we came to you because some of our front end stuff that you were talking about wasn't strong enough and we needed the marketing skill set. That was a very strategic and tactical move for us to make that investment. You guys should all be doing the same things. And that's the first and best place we can put our money.
Okay, so the second thing, your number one asset, your number one investment now is your cash cow that we're all creating here. It's your ClickFunnels business that you're running, whatever your business is, whatever your market that is your number one investment. So the three areas that you invest in your business is your sales, your systems, and your people. Right? So before we ever think about taking our money and kicking it to anything else, our two best places are our number one asset and our number one investment. Now, our number one strategy is to start to keep more of the money that we make. And the way we do this, remember, this is the exact opposite. We call this a vault, but what we want you to consider, there are places that you can put your money that will accomplish everything an entrepreneur needs. In fact, there's not places, there is a place. So if we need our money to be protected, right, the money that we make from our business, what's the number one thing we want to do? Keep it, not lose it, right? Who cares if we don't make a 7% or a 9% rate of return? If we can make a 100% rate of return in our business, all we want to do is take the money that we make and keep it. I can't tell you how many times we talk to business owners who make hundreds of thousands of dollars but have nothing to show for it at the end of the month or the end of the year or the end of the decade.
Well, here's a quick story for that. So I was working with, she's a business owner. She lives on the East Coast. She runs a tactical supply company and supplies tactical gear to the military primarily. And her business grosses over $10 million a year. She takes home about $800 out of the business every year. And when she came to us, she had great income, but basically no assets other than the business. So we took her through this process, this explanation, set her up with a vault. And I just met with her 2 weeks ago. This has been 3.5 years, I think we're into it now. And we pulled up her vault $1.2 million in it. She changed nothing that she was doing before other than just focusing on keeping what she did. It didn't take anything from the business, it didn't take anything from her lifestyle, but just captured what she wasn't focusing on before.
I want you to consider, it's not what we make, it's what we keep. We've all heard that, but as business owners, how often do we take the time to keep the money that we've made? Very rarely, right? So the next thing is, who in here is afraid of lawsuits? We're talking about these crazy people ringing cowbells, right, at presentations. Our money needs to be private, right? The more money you make, the bigger target you have on your back. And we live in a very litigious world, and so we need to have our money not only safe, we need to protect it from litigation.
So another cool story with that. So who remembers the Enron scandal? So I was an accountant back in the day. Dude, really what they did was actually pretty awesome from an accounting standpoint of like what they did. Like, you shouldn't do that, but it was brilliant what they did. But as we studied that, the guy that ran that whole thing, he ran this system for himself. And when he was securities fraud guilty in jail. He had over, it was somewhere in the tens of millions of dollars in his vault. Couldn't touch it. That fed his family. While he ended up dying in prison later. That was a different story, but that was untouched. That passed through. That's how strong the asset protection is around this vault. Now, none of you guys are going to go get in trouble like he did and like commit securities fraud, but if he could keep it, no matter what's going to come to us just from the liability of being a business owner, is protected.
Okay, so the next thing, I think the hardest part about investing for entrepreneurs is the second you give that money away, it now cannot be reinvested back in your business and back in your personal development, right? And so there's a big reluctance to take the money that we have because we might need it for payroll, we might need it for investment within our business capital, that kind of stuff. Your money has to stay liquid so you can reinvest it back into the places that give you the best return, yourself and your business. Tax-free, so we have to have our ability protected to keep our money protected from taxes. And it protects the number one asset. It gives you growth and income. And with all of this, it gives you the really unique ability. Who in here has an actual bank account, right? With the Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, whatever it is. We all have bank accounts, right? Does anyone go to the bank anymore and deposit a check, right? Write their name and deposit a check? I've got a little 5-year-old, and he always comes with me to the bank. Anytime you have to go to the bank, we deposit the checks in there. And every bank that you go to, they have a bowl of lollipops, suckers. Why do banks keep suckers? Right? Banks have two things, suckers and video cameras. So I'll tell you what, behind the scenes, there's some dude on the video camera watching us put our money in the bank, and he's saying, look, you know what, we're gonna give this guy a sucker because that's literally what we are. What do the banks do with our money when we put it there?
They make money with it.
They make money, they invest it. They use our money to go out and run their entire business. What if you had the ability to do the exact same thing in your business? If you had the ability to keep your money safe, private, protected, take your money, have it growing, and then re-leverage it back into your business. I know all of that sounds kind of crazy because it's not what we're taught with mutual funds, but that's exactly how this account works.
And for all of you on Amazon, like buying actual vaults, it's not like an actual vault, okay? So empty those out of your cart.
Yeah, here it is. All right, so last thing, we're gonna play one more video clip, then we're gonna get into what this is. All right, one more thing here. So if you guys didn't watch the debates this year, they were crazy funny, watching Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump go at it. But I'm going to play a little clip here because Donald Trump is now sitting in the Oval Office and he says something really telling here, right? Hillary Clinton is bashing him for not having paid taxes. Now, Donald Trump's not in jail, but he's in the White House, right? So what is this? Let's hear what he has to say.
Or maybe he doesn't want the American people, all of you watching tonight, to know that he's paid nothing in federal taxes, because the only years that anybody's ever seen were a couple of years when he had to turn them over to state authorities when he was trying to get a casino license, and they showed he didn't pay any federal income tax. So if he's paid zero, that means zero for troops, zero for vets, zero for schools or health.
We can shut it there. That makes Donald Trump smart. Why? Because he didn't pay any taxes. So this is the president of the United States now saying that he uses the tax code as a playbook to help him not pay any taxes. How many of you guys would like to have the ability to pay less in taxes or zero in taxes? Every hand should go up, right? So let's just get right to the point. What this is, guys, the vault, all it is, it's uniquely designed life insurance products. No one ever thinks, whenever you think of an investment, where do you think of putting money? Real estate? Mutual funds? Bitcoin? Right? Does any of those things, does it accomplish what an entrepreneur needs? Does it keep your money safe? Does it keep it private? Does it keep it liquid so you can reinvest it back in your business? Does it grow and compound steadily year over year?
Does it give you control? Do you understand it?
You can actually set up life insurance policies. This is the craziest thing. So this is how we started in this industry. Mike Dillard came and said, look, I want to have $100,000 of tax-free income 20 years down the road. And if I run my business in such a way, how much do I need to put in one of these accounts to generate $100,000 of tax-free income? And we just reverse engineered it for him and showed him exactly how much he needs to put into a life insurance policy, uniquely designed, specially designed to grow his money tax-free by the IRS code, to keep it liquid so he can reinvest it back into his business anytime he wants, to keep it safe and private, and many other things. There's a lot of different strategies that this can be used for, but this is not mutual funds done better. This is the exact opposite. If you want what everyone else has, do what everyone else does. But how many people think the Donald Trumps, the Warren Buffetts, the multimillionaires out there, do you think they're just doing mutual funds better than the average person? They do the exact opposite, guys. So that's really at the core of this.
And the purpose of this, again, guys, remember, if you want more money, what do?
Go to your business.
You run another Facebook ad, right, and make more money. So if having more money is what you want, don't say, I need to take money and invest. Focus on the number one asset and the number one investment. Okay? The reason we use a specially designed life insurance policy is to keep it and protect it, not to get you more of it. That's the kind of the paradigm we want to break here a little bit. Okay? All the employees who can't control their income are saving a very small slice and have 40 years to do it. That's what they need to do. They need to make more money in their investments because they can't in their everyday life. It's not you guys. So investing, the purpose of that is not making more money. Okay? So in the build phase of a business, we're not going to do anything except focus on your business. Don't do anything else because you will not make more money. There is no amount of investing that will make you wealthy. Okay? I've got a friend down the street. He's an investment advisor. I haven't really broke it to him what I do. But he keeps hitting me up and he name drops. So we're in Utah and he name drops all these wealthy people in Utah. He's like, I manage this guy's money. You should let me have some of yours too. And so finally I asked him this question. I said, okay, I will give you all of my money if you can tell me not what they're doing with their money now, but what they did to get it in the first place. If you can do that, if you can do whatever they did to get their money in the first place, I will give you all of my money. Crickets, right? Because all of those people built businesses, just like you guys are. That's where your wealth is created. So in the build phase, that's where we focus.
Okay, so build phase, and then the goal of a business owner is to stabilize, right? When you have steady income coming in, right? You know what your expenses are, you know what your revenue is, you're in more of a stabilization phase. And at this point, for a business owner, the goal is to start to think about one thing that most entrepreneurs don't think about. When we're working in our purpose, when we're working in our passion, we'll do it for free, we'll do it because we love it, and we'll do it till we die. But I want you to consider that without an exit strategy, you are always going to be in a position where you're going to feel like you're hunted, right? What will happen tomorrow? What rules might change? Will Zuckerberg slap us down, right? Will the rules change within our game? Do we have the ability to continue to go forward?
And Russell, as your business get bigger, does this go away or does it just change? Amplifies, because you got 120 people that you think about now, right? So it's more money, more income, more revenue, bigger business doesn't change this feeling of being hunted, okay? So after our business stabilizes, this is now the problem that our investing needs to solve. So our system helps you in the first two phases by keeping you focused on the number one asset and the number one investing and keeping all the other distractions away from you, okay? To allow you to focus and do those. Then once you've accomplished that, we turn to solving this problem, okay? And it comes to an exit plan. Now again, employee exit plans are quit, stop, right? That's not for us.
Go back to find the purpose that you might have lost for the last 30 or 40 years.
Go enjoy the last little bit that you have and get your bucket list done, right? For us, we think of an exit strategy a lot more like a parachute, okay? If you were to jump out of an airplane with no parachute, it'd be a terrifying experience, right? But if we have a parachute, that terrifying experience can now be thrilling and enjoyable and fun, right? Same with our business, okay? And we talk about this parachute as passive income. If we can put the parachute of passive income on, now that feeling of being hunted by the wolf starts to fade to the background. Because if this thing doesn't work, our bank accounts fill up the next month and we try again. And we avoid the serial entrepreneur issue of build and burn, and build and burn, and build and burn. Instead, with this parachute of passive income, we build and stabilize. And then we decide what's our next move. What do we do next? And then we build off of that more stable platform. So our exit strategy, again, isn't to leave or stop. We want that momentum to continue. And by having this in place, this is our exit strategy.
Guys, when we came to the inner circle, we made a major shift in our business, and we didn't actually have active income for almost 8 months. And the whole reason was that we already had an exit plan built. We had the ability to get
How old are your
income.
kids?
11, 9, and 5.
And I've got 5 ranging from 9 to 1.5. So you talk about this idea of like having responsibilities to make a shift like that. It wasn't an easy shift, but what made it possible?
The next thing, the last part about what we do with people is help them build an exit strategy. So I want you to consider, what is the purpose of all long-term savings? Is it to have it grow? That's part of it, but what is the real purpose? One day, wherever you have your nest egg, a whole bunch of Bitcoin, a whole bunch of money in an IRA, or wherever it is, a whole bunch of money in a vault, what do we want our savings to do? Produce income, right? Replace us actively working for income, which gives us permission to live on purpose more often and more frequently, right? If we want to take 6 months off, we take it. If we want to go, you guys have been traveling all over the world this year, right? If we want to do some of these things, that's the whole purpose of all long-term savings, to have the ability to turn and convert into income. So the last part about what we do is we help people think about where they're going. And the only way that we should evaluate where we put our money is, number one, how we talked about the vault, but number two, how it produces income for us. How do we eliminate the things like taxes? How do we eliminate the things like market volatility? How do we eliminate the roller coaster that comes with not being in control of where we put our money? Okay? So last thing here.
So step 2 of the plan, after we secure the vault, you have an automatic plan that builds and funds that, and you understand how to use that, then we start looking at this idea of cash flow. And this is the only time you ever invest outside of your business. Because remember, if we want more money, where do we go? Back to our business, okay? So rate of return is irrelevant. If somebody comes and says, I can get you 12% and that guy's getting you 10, does that matter when you're making 1,200% in your business, okay? It doesn't. So this step is not about rates of return. Yes, we can put rates of return on these numbers, but that's not the point. If it doesn't create passive income or cash flow, then you don't put your money there. Simple, easy. Is that simple enough, Russell? We get that?
I get it.
Okay, easy. Okay. Okay, but there's a couple caveats to that, because whoever's like read something or taken a course on passive income that turned out not to be passive. Yeah, right? Okay. So for us, we fell into this bucket as well. I started buying real estate, and I bought 1 property, and then pretty soon I had 5, and I thought I was going to be this mogul entrepreneur. And then I found myself, this was between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I was evicting my tenant. And she was, like, you guys are all like, you're the devil, like evil, like, yeah, it was awful, right? Because I'd gone 7 months with this lady and trying to get this all, and it all just culminated then. And I was just thinking, like, I can't do this. Like, this doesn't work. Like, what did I do wrong? I thought this was supposed to be passive, and I realized I really just ended up with a part-time job because I was finding property and rehabbing them and then placing tenants and then being a marriage counselor to those tenants most of the time and then kicking them out and renovating again. Like, it wasn't passive. Okay, so Ryan and I, this is how Ryan and I met, was in a mastermind group trying to figure this out and say, how do we actually make the income passive so we can focus on what we want to do, which is our business. So we've got 3 caveats here. It has to be actually passive, it has to be automated, and you have to be in a secured position with it, okay? And those are the only investments that you should ever look outside of your business. Now, we're not going to say we have every investment opportunity out there. We haven't cornered the market on this, okay? So if you find a great investment that meets all these criteria, awesome. But just make sure that you're not enticed by a rate of return, that there isn't something you can do in your number 1 asset or your number 1 investment first, and that it's producing cash flow, okay? But if you don't want to do this yourself, then that's what we're here for. So we went one level further than this. We start with this idea of the chess pieces is everybody needs a game plan. If we all resonate with these ideas, that's great, but what you want and your business and where you're at is different than you guys. So you need to know how it's all going to work for you. So that's what we do with clients. And then the second one here is we spent 10 years building a team that allows us to invest for cash flow that's completely automated. I mean, we spend less than 3 hours a month managing everything. And so that's what we bring to clients are the team to help implement this and then opportunities that meet that criteria. So if you've got your own, that's cool, but we at least get you started with ours, okay? And before Russell asked us to talk on Sunday night, when he voxed us and asked us to give a little presentation, we had already made a decision in our business for 2018. We need to step away from it. We can't meet one-on-one anymore. We've got to figure out how to scale and grow. But because we love the inner circle so much, okay, we found this cool software program because it was Friday or it was Sunday and we needed to speak on Tuesday. And we need to create a little landing page that people go get information. So we have this cool thing called ClickFunnels and we built a page for you guys, okay? So you can go here. We're gonna record some more specific videos for you guys. But if you want to talk more about it, you can book a strategy session with us right there and we'll take you through everything. But we're not meeting with anyone in 2018. So this is just like an inner circle hookup.
And I get nothing for referring this. I'm doing this myself. That's why I wanted you guys to do this. So yeah. There's no ulterior motive other than they're really amazing. So
cool. So that's what we're doing. There's more detail for the fact finders and people that want to go in more depth. There's going to be more of the detail there. We promise not to bring up spreadsheets and beat you over the head with numbers. So you're welcome for that. But you can get more information detail to there. And then there's a big blue button in the middle that says, I don't want any more videos. Just tell me what to do. And Russell, that's the button that you can click and we'll go from there.
So guys, the whole thing about this is it's really pretty simple. I mean, our goal for the people that we work with, especially entrepreneurs that run amazing, successful businesses, is we want you to live your life on purpose. The more purposeful you live your life, the more people you impact, and the more people you impact, the more money you make. And you just do that over and over and over again, and along the way, we show you how to keep more of your money and then develop an exit strategy. And I promise you, as you keep your money and develop an exit strategy, you stabilize abundance, and you live your life more on purpose. And it just is a compounding effect. That's all it really is. It's turning money into more money. It's not about your rate of return. It's about putting your money where it matters. Okay, that's it, guys.
Okay, so I just want to make sure. So conceptually, life insurance is like the first vehicle where money's going into, and then the money in there is what you're investing in these other things. Is that correct?
So here's the crazy thing about it. When we didn't go into detail because this is where we actually have to kind of walk you through how it works because most people don't think about this. But if I came up to you, Russell, and I gave you a $100 bill today, what are the two options basically that you could do with it?
Spend it.
Or save it. That's it, right? You couldn't do both. If you spend it, you can't save it. And if you save it, you can't spend it. But in these policies, you can actually use them like a bank. You can have your money liquid and compounding and growing, but then leverage the value of your money to accomplish short-term goals like reinvesting back in your business. So you can make your money do two things at the same time. Anyone in real estate knows the most powerful vehicle in real estate is what? Leverage? Yeah, leverage that we control. So,
but yes, Russell, that's what we set up first. And we start securing our capital there while we're building our business. And then we can reinvest and grow that business. And then eventually over time, because who started a business that sort of eats and consumes everything it creates for a while, right? And then over time, it starts to create more than it consumes, and that will build up in the vault. And that's when you have permission to then invest for cash flow, but not until we reach that stabilization point. Until your business stabilizes and gives you more than it takes, then we can invest for cash flow. That was at.
Yeah. So for somebody like me, like, is it like a percentage each month I'm putting in, or just here's a bunch of money put it, like, you know what I mean, for the
both. I mean, it's every plan that we build is 100% unique and customized to the person that has it.
So for you, we'd go the Mike Dillard route where we'd say, what do you want out here? Like, what would make you wake up in the morning and not have the wolf hunting you? So, well, then we'd reverse engineer and say, okay, you need to set this much aside for that. And then we don't have the fear, like the fear of a 401k is we oversave into it. If we put too much in, we then need it over here, we can't get it. We don't have that fear here. So we just say, where do you want to be? What would make you feel good? Great. Start securing that. And then if we ever needed it, we'd grab it back and still build this, but we'd know we're on track for it. Okay, but then other people that are in the build and stabilize phase, it's more just a what do you have? Like how much money is flowing, and let's start with that. Okay, you're in the exit phase more, and we would just reverse engineer your number.
One thing that was cool that Tony Robbins told me that might be good for you guys to add in your presentations, but he said like, for some entrepreneurs, like the government came and gave us like a 15% tax or 20% tax. He's like, we'd be pissed about it, we figure out a way to make it work, right? And he was like, what he has his people do is like, put your own 15% tax rate on your stuff that goes into something, you know, whatever. And that he's like, you'll figure out how to make it up in other spots, but then you look 5 years later, it's like, oh,
it's there.
That's exactly what we did with this lady. 3.5 years later, she has 1.2 million, doesn't know where it came from. Because we just set it up, gave her the permission to do all this stuff, and if she oversaved, she could get it back, but then she never did. She figured out where it came from, and it was...
Remember the three things in your business, right? It's marketing, systems, right? And a lot of the systems for entrepreneurs, it's not just making money and then reinvesting it. It's the money that we systematically pull out as well. So marketing, systems, and people.
So...
Oh, he had it first, sorry.
Okay, yeah. So how much can you leverage?
100%.
So I give you $500,000 today, and then I need it back to operate my company.
Yeah, there's a little bit of startup cost because we are using life insurance. So we kind of reverse engineer it based on the IRS code. So we just figure out how much you're going to put in. We go and find out the minimum amount of death benefit to keep it qualified as life insurance simply for the tax benefits. And then the rest of it is cash value that you can leverage immediately.
So the back here and then here.
Yeah, so when you put the money in, you're saying that's a tax deduction? Is that what you mean by tax-free, or when you draw it, it's tax-free?
When you draw it. I mean, you can set it up both ways, but primarily for most entrepreneurs, it's about generating the income from themselves. So we got to square up with the tax bill one way or the other. We usually do it on the front end. That way, everything on the back end comes out.
So one quick thing to taxes. The IRS is smart enough not to let you in twice, okay? And we'd rather pay our tax on our seed, not our harvest, okay? So when it comes to taxation, there are laws around investments and there are laws around your business and your income, and they are separate, okay? So we will work with you within your business to structure that and set that up, and part of our team are CPAs that understand businesses and understand business owners and investing, and we can work on that. And then on the investment side, we want to make sure that the investments never hurt this other problem of paying taxes in your business, because you're always going to have to pay something on that side, but the investments can be free.
What about the growth on the investment?
Tax-free.
Okay, so the rate of return you're generating on the after-tax money that you put in,
Yeah.
that rate of return is tax-free.
Tax-free.
Even if you took it out a year later, 2 years later, 5
You can,
times.
and you can leverage the tax-free portion of it and utilize that for your business.
And is that loans on your life insurance, or is that literally?
Both loans and withdrawals. Here's one thing as well with it. I mean, part of it's life insurance, that's the vaults, but we do a lot of real estate strategies. And when you think of the IRS, right, Donald Trump being smart, the tax code is really written for one thing. It's written to tell you how to not pay taxes. And it's really written to incentivize people like all of us to invest in the places that the IRS wants us to invest. They want us to invest in our business. They also want us to invest in what these guys like to do back there, which is real estate, right? And so we bring a lot of real estate options that are passive and systematic to the table that will pass through tax deductions to you as well.
And that's through the life insurance, is it?
Separate, two separate things.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, yeah, that's what we move. Did you answer yours?
Maybe. That's what I was going to ask, is because you said CPAs, well, our traditional accountants actually understand this stuff, because
No.
Yeah, because they don't understand this now anyway. So.
And 99% of their clients are employees, right? So we need to find CPAs that understand this, and we've curated.
We have a term for this. So I can't remember what the guy is that gave this speech, but you remember the speech where there's two goldfish swimming in a tank, right? One way, two younger goldfish, and an older goldfish swimming the other way. And as the two younger goldfish swim by the older goldfish, the older one turns to the two younger and says, "Morning, boys, how's the water?" Right? The two younger goldfish swim along for a minute, and then they look back and say, "What the hell's water?" Right? They didn't know what they didn't know. They didn't know they were swimming in a goldfish tank. And most CPAs and most financial advisors, they're not giving you bad advice. They just don't know what they don't know, and they're giving you advice for employees.
They're good people. They're honest. They're doing the right thing, but they don't know that they're in a fishbowl of water. That's all that they are. So we're working with people outside. That's we have attorneys and CPAs and everything that do that.
Just a quick.
Here, man.
Put in 100, take out the 100, You make the money off of it, you put back 400, okay? That first 100 is tax-free. The other 300 you have to pay for taxes the first time you put it in, right?
Yeah, because you created that in your business, right?
Correct.
And those are separate.
Basically, anytime you have you can take out the initial investment, but because you already paid up the 100, anytime you add on to it, you just got to pay the taxes once.
Yep.
Almost like a Roth IRA, practically.
Same exact idea, except you don't have to wait till you're 59 and a half and there's no penalties.
Exactly.
And you're not
There's
forced
control.
into the market.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very refreshing to hear you guys talk about this in this space because nobody does.
Right.
I've been doing this for years with life insurance myself. And most people don't know it's a concept called live your life insurance. Most people think life insurance is just a death benefit. And actually the biggest banks in the world take your money and invest it in life insurance.
That's crazy. We're going to share that. I mean, it's always do what we say, not what we do, right? Most self-made millionaires, most banks, Donald Trump's out there have millions of dollars in these type of policies, millions upon millions. And so we actually recorded a video. I mean, we didn't record this specifically for you guys. We teach our clients how to do all kinds of fun stuff with this. But video number 5 on this page is exactly that, how you can live a legacy life today. I'll tell you what, it changes everything. If you can utilize the value of your money today to invest in those things that we talked about earlier, right? Body, mental, spiritual, emotional, your business. If you can do those things, you can use money for what it really is designed to be. It's just a tool. It's just a piece of paper. Right, but what you create with that, the lifestyle and the experiences you create, that's what it's there for. But you can use it for short-term goals and long-term goals as well.
I was just going to say, so when I started, I went to my guy and I said, I'm funded for 7 years. Is that what y'all do, 7 years?
Man, we try to build these things as big as our client wants them to be.
Yeah, so I funded for 7 years, and then at a certain age at that time, I'll have 20 grand a month coming in for the rest of my life forever.
Boom.
Tax-free.
Why do I do anything just from my policy?
That's the fun part. We reverse engineer these things all the time. You tell us what you want, we show you how to get it.
When we talk about history, we're not talking like 20 or 30 year projections.
No.
These are the oldest, longest standing institutions in our country. They're over 150 years old. So they've gone through Great Depressions, World Wars, stagflation, dot-com bubble, real estate bubble, never missed a payment. Never missed a guarantee, and never missed a dividend on top of that. So we're talking about stability and security. This, like you said, this is where the banks invest their money. This is where, if you look at
The richest people in the world.
every election, a list comes out of what politicians are invested in. Every single one have these policies, these accounts. They get it.
Do you do a part like term life and part of it?
I mean, yeah, the way we structure it, we just reverse engineer it. So whatever you're going to put in, we get the minimum amount of life insurance in the most cost-effective way to do it. That way, the majority of what you're putting in goes right to the cash. So some of it's a blend of term. It's
So
just
a tiny bit is
Yeah.
actually in a life insurance.
yeah, and that's going back to protecting the number one asset. You do have a death benefit. It is a life insurance policy at the end of the day. And so these things can be used for estate planning. They can be used for income planning. There's so many different strategies for them. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to fit it into one of only 3 investment vehicles that fit in the tax-free bucket. One of only 3.
Does it make sense to like set a bunch of these for your kids and stuff and dump money away for them, or is that?
Think about it. Think about like a branch of a bank. Like if you only had one branch and it closed down, the whole system's shut down. So if I have a policy only on me, eventually I'm going to die, and now my whole family financial system is shut down with me. But I've got one on me and my wife and my kids. And so then when I die and that all pays out, it's got a new home to go into. And then, so like the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, like the wealthy families that have passed wealth intergenerationally, that's what life insurance, like all the structure of trusts and wills and all of that started with life insurance. And they're modeled. That's the cool thing about this. Like it's tax-free, not because the IRS is like, I'll turn the other way and let you do that. This existed before the IRS. And then all the other tax-free systems have been built on the model of life insurance after the fact.
Or you could even do a key man policy on some key employee if you want to make sure they're taken care of. God forbid something happens to you or flip phones.
Yeah, there's all kinds of cool things we can do with it.
Yeah, and just going back to the idea of the number one asset, like me knowing that if anything ever happened to me, my business and my legacy is fine and my family's fine, like that allows me to stand more powerfully in what I'm.
It gives me more confidence too. I mean, we have the same protection on each other. If anything happens to Brad, I know what his life is worth now, so I can replace it.
Have good partners. Okay, anyone?
Yeah, I set one of these up 6 years ago. It's been brilliant for me. And then about a year ago, I set up 2 for each of my kids, 1 for each of my kids. And the cool thing is my kids don't know about it. I don't know if I'll ever even tell them about it. I get to control it. So they're the death benefit. I pour the money in it. I control it, so I can borrow the money out of it. And it's pretty slick.
We recorded a video in here. Video number 5, Living a Legacy Life. Man, it's amazing what you can do with it. We show you how to use it for real estate. We show you, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do with it. I mean, over the last 10 years, Brad and I have used these concepts to launch our business, to fund our business, to fund lifestyle, to buy hundreds of thousands of dollars of real estate, right? And it's all gone in and out of these type of policies, but the benefit is the money that was in there in the beginning continued to compound. It's this cool ninja trick, but it's really, when you see how it works, it's not ninja, it's really simple. It's really, really simple. You have a bank. Rather than going to Chase Bank and being the sucker, remember, and they're watching you on the video camera saying, hey, we just gave that guy a dum-dum and he's putting all his money in here, right? My 5-year-old loves it, but honestly, that's really how the banking system works. We're just going to set you up with the ability to have a life insurance policy that you run and treat like a bank.
You become your own banker. Nelson Nash wrote a great book called Become Your Own Banker.
Yep.
It's actually what it'll say.
Totally.
Do it yourself.
The Godfather.
All based on life insurance.
So I go to that site and there's 4 options. What's the one that's best?
We probably should have made one option, huh?
Well, no, there's only one. If you want to learn more, go there and there's videos for you guys to get more detail. For those that want more detail. For those that don't, there's a big blue button in the middle that says, I don't want to watch any more videos, just tell me what to do. You can click there and that gets you in our calendar.
And there's 4 types of appointments I can book.
Oh, yeah.
30-minute strategy, 6-minute strategy, cash flow strategy.
Yeah.
Book an hour. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I didn't know what you were asking. Yeah, just book an hour. Well, so Brandon, and if Brandon and Kaylin are watching this, Brandon booked 30 minutes. And he's like, okay, you got 30 minutes. 4.5 hours later, I had to be like, dude, look, I canceled 2 appointments. I've got to go, and we finished it up. Yeah, this is Brandon and Kaylin. So that first video, we're gonna put this recording there, and then we've got additional education below.
We use this really cool software, and we literally built this at lunch. I mean, it was crazy. And we're not web guys.
So Bradley, you guys just take Brandon's thing, put it for the Q&A for anyone else who has any questions. They got 4.5 hours, you most commonly asked.
It was awesome. It was so much fun, though. It was awesome. So if you scroll up a little bit, there's a button right there. Like we said, we're not. I should make it bigger. We're not. Like I said, we're really. Well, you'll hear about all this tomorrow. But we had made the commitment to moving. But man, we're excited to help you guys. And just like Russell, like what we get excited about with our clients is seeing what they move on to accomplish and have them come back and be like, man, I've never been so comfortable with money. I've never been so confident. I've never not felt hunted anymore. I know I have a plan. I know what I need to be doing now and next year, and that I'm on track, and watching their businesses and their lives expand because of that. That's what we really love to do.
Did you ever read the book, The One Thing? Sure. Gary Keller? Yeah. So powerful. I mean, we modeled a bunch of our business just around that concept. You know, traditional finance is all about diversification. And it goes back to the idea that you don't control it. And the dirty little secret is your investment advisor doesn't control it either. So you have to diversify to have lower, risk. But when you control your investments, when it's simple like this and it just works, it's all about one thing: focus. Focus. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. And then it's building a system to have an exit strategy.
Now, can you buy Bitcoin? Sure. Okay. I might have an undisclosed amount of gold and silver in my basement. Don't come looking for it, okay? But the point is you don't have really permission to do that until we've secured what you're keeping and you've created cash flow so you're not being hunted. Then after that, you can do whatever you want with it because it doesn't really matter, right? Okay? So it's not that you can't do those other things. Those opportunities come along. It's the way we like to think about it is an analogy of like just hitting singles. Simple success, swinging singles, okay? You hit a single and nothing sexy happens, like you got a guy on base. You get up, you hit another single. Still, the crowd's like, this is boring, right? That's when most people get impatient and they try to swing for the fences, and what happens? They strike out and they get nothing. Whereas if you just get up and hit one more single, now the bases are loaded. From that point forward, every time you hit a single, what happens? You score a run. And you get the same result you'd get if you got up solo and hit a solo home run, right? But all you have to do is go through the effort of hitting a single every single time. Every single time you hit a single, somebody scores. That's the way we want to set it up, is do the work ahead of time, set up the base and the foundation and hit singles. Then every once in a while, if you get a hot tip on Bitcoin, you might hit a home run and bring 4 guys home, but then you go right back to loading the bases and hitting singles. That's what we want with finances.
We've learned a lot of stuff from Russell.
This is kind of like bridge. I don't know where I got that idea from.
It was like 8 stories in there, guys. That was pretty impressive.
This, first off, just like feedback, like that was the most clear financial presentation I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you. Honestly, guys, man, this has been such a pleasure to be here and learn from the master. Because when we came in, we wanted to sit Russell down. He said, "What do you do?" I said, "Give us 4 hours. Give us 4 hours and 5 spreadsheets, and we'll show you exactly what we do." So that's not what we do anymore.
Seriously, like I dream in spreadsheets. Okay, like you've seen the movie The Matrix, where no, like when I buy a car, I build a spreadsheet. No, I'm like serious about this, but like The Matrix, the movie The Matrix, you've seen it where like they're looking in the green things coming down and they're seeing the world. Like that was me. And when I started this, I just build a spreadsheet and put it on the screen and be like, all right, you ready? People are like, it was really hard, but this has totally changed how we've done everything, and it's amazing. So.
Yeah, do we get matching shoes if we become clients?
No, you need to become clients with Bart. You need to go shopping with Bart, and you'll get matching shoes.
I thought it was like a mastermind I could join.
Yeah, no, I forgot my boots, so I came with my only pair of Bart shoes today. And I couldn't wear my tennis shoes because, Bart, I'm sorry. I know you'd be mad about that. Okay, guys, thanks so much. It's dinner.